Morning. Thank you so much for staying with us here on the program. And just some developing news here is that, and something also that will be forming the basis of our discussion this morning, because that's exactly what we wanted to talk about, the fate of the 4 IEBC commissioners. 2 have already resigned, the latest one being the vice chair, that is Juliana Cherera. And I just want to read her resignation letter to President William Ruto. She says, it is with immense woe that today I tender my resignation as Commissioner and Vice Chairperson of Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. Now, since joining the Commission, I have dispensed my duties diligently, meticulously, and put a spirited effort in helping the Commission deal with corporate governance issues under very difficult circumstances. As Vice Chairperson, I always advocated for fair treatment and equal opportunity for all staff. However, my cumulative actions done in good faith are unfortunately misjudged and misinterpreted. After consultation, careful consideration of the current events at the Commission and with consultation with my family and lawyers, I accept that my stay at the Commission is no longer tenable and therefore choose to vacate. I sincerely thank His Excellency Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, for the opportunity accorded to me to serve the Republic. God bless Kenya. That is a letter, a resignation letter by Juliana Cherera to the President of the Republic of Kenya. The President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto. Thank you so much, and we want to get into the conversation. Here on set, I have my guests, Ken Babu and Sankara Kennedy will be joining us in a little while to just get deeper into this conversation. Ken, let's just start from what is developing right now. We are seeing Juliana Cherera opting out already. What do you make of this first before you actually go further?
I think you know, there has been a lot of issues on the Cherera 4. Mm-hmm. They have been named Cherera 4 since the day that since the day they moved out and said that the election they were not part of that. Mm-hmm. So everybody has been having different thoughts and different ideas and different sentiments have been made. Mm-hmm. And the other day we saw Justice Nyang'aya resigning from the commission, and now today we've seen the vice chair, who to some extent was the holder, the main holder of the entire team of 4 stepping out. Okay. So I don't know what the remaining 2 are thinking, but from where I sit in my view, I think that Justice Nyang'aya and Juliana Cherera have done justice to themselves, and they have secured some respect and dignity for their future survival. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Was this the right move for them to actually do, make? Because we are looking at it to some extent whereby probably they would have fought this a little bit more, and there's been quarters in the political front actually coming to say, okay, you are attacking these people, you're not supposed to be doing that. Let the due process actually to be followed and all that. And they had a lot of backing when it comes to the political front from the Azimio side. Was this the right move for them?
You know, the appointing authority of that commission is the president. And as it stands right now, these are people who have specific terms to serve, and their term was almost ending. And the commission that was formed, the tribunal that was formed, the 9-team tribunal led by Justice Magistrate Mchelule, had recommended that these people should step down, should resign. And actually, I think what they are doing, I think they are just doing the right thing. You know, the Azimio side, the members of the Azimio, I saw my minority leader and Junet, they were not in agreement with how the committee was handling that issue. But what can we do about it? Or what can they do about it? They just need to, I mean, the 4 people just need to give space, because it's something that we've been discussing, people have been talking about. We have other issues that are affecting this country that needs to be addressed. In fact, the 2 gentlemen and the 2 ladies have been the discussion all over. But we're having economic issues, we're having social issues, we're having life-threatening issues that needs to be discussed.
But who exactly brought this conversation on the table? Because you say we have so many issues to actually be talking about. Yes. And we decided to focus on the Cherera 4, for lack of a better word, because that's the word that we've actually been using. And now that Cherera is out of the picture, I don't know what we call them now. But this is the thing. This is a conversation. Like you say, there are so many things we should have focused on. Exactly. And maybe focus on, restructuring the IEBC when probably we're 2 years close to elections and something like that. Was this the right time to actually have this conversation?
No, I don't think this is the right time. We just came from election. I think what we should now focus on is, the government should now focus on the manifestos they gave people, on how to ensure that the young people whom they gave big promises are moving out. Truth be told, as the current situation right now, it is very sad. It's very sad, economically, it's very sad. In these cities, most of us cannot manage 3 meals a day. And then you have to give us stories of people who can live even without those jobs. What are you trying to show us? I think the government now should focus on ensuring that they achieve all the deliberate and deliver their manifesto. We should not be discussing issues of IEBC right now. There is a time we'll discuss that when that time comes.
But already we've gotten into the discussion right now, and you're seeing the two already IEBC commissioners actually opting out to some extent. From where you sit as a youth, what does this speak of the commission itself and just in general, and how it should conduct itself in future?
The commission, from the word go, before elections, there has not been unity in that commission. It is just that they were trying to give us what they can feed the public. But inside, there are a lot of issues, right from the execution of duties and, how do I put it? When it came out that the chairman was now giving out duties and roles, it appeared that people like Cherera, who was now the vice chair, was tasked to do with issues to do with tea and I don't know what. So what I'm saying is the commission had issues. And from what we are seeing, truth be told, and any genuine person will tell you that it was a one-man show. That was the chairman. It is the chairman who was running everything. It was not in consultation with anybody, and we saw that in Bomas, that there was a lot of disagreement within the House, and that's something we should not expect going towards 2027. And that's what I'm saying. Now that we faced all that, we need to sit down and focus on the development of the country, and then we shall have time to restructure all these stuffs and see where we went wrong and where we can make changes. And that does not mean that we need to punish those who did not agree with the results. It is within their rights. They had not to agree.
Let me talk about something that we saw the Right Honourable former Prime Minister Raila Odinga actually raise, and he says, when we are looking at the Cherera 4 and let me just say the IEBC commissioners and the attack, to some extent, if we can call it that, from the president in terms of wanting them out of office. He accused the president of, this is a plot to actually get control of the IEBC and rig the 2027 election. What do you make of that first?
That's a very deep one. Bran, if you are in charge of, if you are the appointing authority, I don't know, I've never been that person to appoint people, and I've never been appointed anywhere, but I have a feeling that when you are appointing people, you must, to some extent, you must appoint loyalists. To some extent, there must be loyalists within the appointment, as much as we have criteria, but loyalty, it might not be indicated amongst the criteria in the Constitution. But from the appointing person or appointing authority, loyalty is a criteria. So what Raila is saying, Raila knows what he's saying. Even if Raila himself was given an opportunity to appoint,
you get somebody who is going to work with him in terms of...
You must have people who can listen to you to some extent, who can consult with you, who can take instructions. That's the essence of having the power to appoint. Then if you cannot have people who can listen to, then why are you appointing? You can just give room for anybody who feels who qualifies to get the position.
Let me bring something else in terms of what the president said in terms of, do you believe that they did stand a chance when it comes to justice to some extent? Because when you look at something that he tweeted, he said the laws of impunity who destroy the oversight institutions using the handshake fraud should allow Parliament to hold rogue officials who put the nation in danger by subverting the democratic will of the people to be held to account. New order is rule of law and not wishes of big men. When you look at this, and I want to ask 3 questions from this particular tweet. when you look at it, do you believe they did stand a chance at all in matters of justice? Because here, to some extent, they've already been prosecuted by the president himself.
I think they are supposed to be given time. They were supposed to be given time and opportunity to explain themselves, because these are adults. These are people in the public service for many years. These are people who understand what they did. These are people who stepped out at the stoppage time, at the time where they can't, any move they are going to make had an impact. So I think they stand a chance to be listened to, and the other party to explain. You know, you cannot make a judgment between two people if you've not heard their stories. You don't just wake up and say you are wrong because you heard the other story.
Okay.
You need to hear both stories and now get a discussion with the two, so that you can settle on the issue. So the Cherera 4 deserves an opportunity to be listened to.
Okay.
With everybody, including the president.
The president should actually get to listen to that. When he accuses them of having subverted the democratic will of the people, and you, from where you sit, and I want you to put yourself in probably in his shoes as the president and somebody who won this election, with the action of actually going to say, you know, we do not agree with whatever Wafula Chebukati is going to announce, we distance ourselves from those particular results. Was that in some way, if you are to be in the president's shoes or the Kenya Kwanza side shoes, subverting the democratic will of the people? Yeah,
as a person, as a personal interest, as an individual who is on the ballot, I will say the same. Yeah, I will say the same, because at that point I have a feeling that I want this thing, and these 4 people are now trying to deny me my rights. Yeah, I will say the same. Okay. But again, who are these 4 people? They are not just any other Kenyans. These are commissioners who took oath of secrecy to serve in that office on behalf of over 50 million people, because not everybody can go and oversee that election. Okay. So the entire country trusted, amongst other members, these 4 to run the elections. And if they stepped out at the stoppage time and said, they were not stepping out because, maybe people think that they were stepping out because Raila was losing. Yeah, that's what's on the mind of many people. Okay. Up to now, I don't think these people are stepping away because Raila was losing. They were stepping away because, to some extent, they felt that their voices and their contributions were not being taken into place, into consideration. Okay. So they felt they were just, in fact, the right term, those resignations the right term they should be using, it is unconstitutional to be earning money in sitting in the office where your contributions are not taken into consideration.
Okay.
That's why that makes the basis of their pulling out at that time.
Okay. They did pull out at that time. Right now, the 2 of them are actually out, and we believe that the remaining 2 will actually be heading out.
They don't have any other option, but
because the person that was holding them to some extent together, the captain is out. Is now out. We are trying to find a different name for the Cherera 4 right now. That aside, are they denying Kenyans a chance to understand? Because a lot of people are like, we need to know exactly what happened behind the scenes. We need these people to come and explain to us before a tribunal and all that. And some were arguing and saying, okay, the honorable thing for them to do will actually be to resign. Because I remember Kimani Ichung'wah, that is the majority leader at the National Assembly, saying, don't take us through the process and using taxpayers' money in terms of getting through the process of it all, going through a tribunal and all that. Just do the honorable thing and resign. But to some extent, some people want questions. Don't resign. We need you to go through the process so that we get to understand what exactly did happen behind the scenes. And I saw actually one of the people, and it's Miguna, who actually, said that people need to understand who did what and when and exactly what happened. We need those kind of answers. With this resignation, are they denying us the chance to actually get to find out exactly what happened behind the scenes?
Definitely, definitely. Because once they have resigned, they are not, I don't think they will have any business to discuss anything about IBC. They are no longer members of the IBC. Okay. So you don't discuss matters of a family that you are not part. So them resigning, by default, they've denied Kenyans an opportunity to get to the root cause of what happened. Get that? Okay. And their resignations, in my thinking, in my own view, as now a Kenyan, a person who lives around, not a leader or something, but just a person, a normal person in the village. Their resignations, to some extent, there is some powers behind it.
There's some powers behind the resignation.
Designation.
From which side?
If they were just resigning genuinely, or they are resigning because they fear the tribunal process, they ought to have resigned immediately after elections, because they had that all that time. What were they waiting for? And now that we are approaching tribunal and the committees there, and people are now eager to hear what happened. Even from Chebukati himself, he comes out and says something. Cherera talks. You know, they have denied us the opportunity to get. I mean, now that they've resigned, we have not gotten the opportunity to get the things that happened. It means that chances are high that the same things might happen again. Okay. Because we don't know why they pulled out on the day of the announcement. We don't know that. Okay. And we don't know why they are resigning. Get that? Okay. We just know that any other person just know that they are resigning, maybe because the president said, I mean, the Kenya Kwanza side said they should resign. But we don't know the actual reason why these people are resigning. Okay. Is it out of fear? Is it out of legal thinking? Is it, I mean,
Cherera says consultations with her lawyers and the family.
Any other person will say that. In fact, don't be surprised if the remaining two can as well say that they are resigning courtesy of health issues. Any other person must create a reason to resign. But personal, inward, they know there's something that they are stepping out, and probably there's some powers behind it.
Now, we were looking at it and also just debating on it and saying, okay, maybe since the president has already pronounced himself on exactly which side he's taking on this particular matter, maybe they looked at it and saw, okay, maybe we don't stand a chance. What's the point of actually getting to fight all this? Why not just leave?
And that now brings the question of independence of judiciary. And the legislature as well. If the president pronounces himself on an issue, and then the person having, the people involved, you now feel threatened that you might not win this, then what does that mean? The president is not the president is not the judiciary. The president is part of the executive. That's a different arm. Okay. If he pronounces himself on you as a person, and then you now withdraw everything and now start sweating and walking out confused, then it means that there's a problem at the judicial process. Okay. And you've seen that being the president is involved, there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Let me take a look at what she wrote in this resignation letter and just try to make sense of it. As a vice chairperson, I always advocated for the fair treatment and equal opportunity for all staff. However, my cumulative actions done in good faith are unfortunately misjudged and misinterpreted. You look at it.
Yeah. That one came out long ago. Came out clear long ago, even before elections. During the time of procurement process, it came out. Okay. You know, Brian, let me tell you, there's one thing that majority don't know. There's been a big issue and a big problem with IBC, within the IBC. You know, any common mwananchi will think that the elections were rigged and the things were not. Even the president himself might not be the problem in that process. The problem starts within. Get that? A child who decides to become rogue in the community and now destroys everything around is not the problem of the community. It's the problem of the family. It starts within the family. So the chairman of IBC, if the deputy chair is saying that, then the chairman should respond. Which contributions are these? Now that's the biggest question that you should be asking. That Cherera as a deputy chair was channeling or was giving, but were being downsized. Okay. Get that? IBC commissioners were 7. 4 pulled out. They remained 3. Majority.
And this is not the first time this actually happening.
Why would we have 4 majority pulling away in disagreement with something that they should be talking and agreeing on? Okay. There's a problem, and this is not the first time, and this is happening the second time with the same chair. Get that? So we should not be bogus and jumping from left, right, trying to hide and seek. No. Martin Luther King said that in this world you will die whether you talk or you don't talk. Right. The biggest difference is you either die with the information or you will die and leave the information going around. Okay. There is a problem within IBC that Chebukati understands better than any other person.
Okay, now we are coming back to talk about what is happening in the IBC and also the planned protest that, nationwide rallies that ODM leader and the Azimio coalition party leader Raila Odinga actually wants to start this coming Wednesday. In just a short while, don't go too far.
Hapa kazi tu inaendelea kuwasaka na kuwatambua wale ambao wanafanya kazi extraordinary na zile kazi za kujituma.
Biashara yote unaambiangwa, as long as you have a plan, you can do it. Our service is about to pressure the customer.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni hapa kazi tu.
Already seen all of it from here, thanks to my wonderful long neck.
Good to have you join us on Heart to Heart.
We bring you stories of people who, despite the pressures they experienced, still trusted God to see them through.
The seeds that was sown in me helped me navigate and overcome that period of my life.
New testimonies, new insights, and even better revelation of the good things God has in store for us.
There is always a blessing waiting for someone in every episode.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. Ken, before we went for a break, we were talking about what is in the IBC and maybe the kind of, disunity in that particular commission. Moving forward, we are looking at a possibility of having a commission with different faces, new faces, totally. We're talking about from the chair all the way to the other commissioners for the next election, because we had this for who we hoped might actually be in the 2027 election, but they will not be there. To avoid this kind of, disunity once again in the coming elections, how do we go about? Because we are looking back at 2017. The commissioners did pull out. We saw Rosalina Kombe and the remaining others actually did pull out and say, okay, this is not our place. Then again, this 2022, that's exactly what we saw. Moving forward from where we sit, what do you think should be a lasting solution to the disunity in this commission?
Number one, I think we should avoid this issue of, I don't have anything against politicians or people who have ever contested, because you might contest once and lose interest in politics. Okay. But there is this thinking that if I contested and to some extent do not favor me, I hold it to punish you one day. I think that thing, to solve this issue of IBC and, elections is everything in any country. And to solve this issue, we just need to have a clear, transparent individuals with high-level integrity who have the interests of the country at heart. But who are these people? Who are these people?
we can't find people who are not, different political affiliations, who do not subscribe to any political side, maybe just independent, as you put it.
Yeah, we cannot find, but we can find at least somebody who can step out and say the truth when the truth is needed. A position of a chairman of IEBC, we have people in this country who can run that position, but they cannot be given that to serve in such capacity, because to that level it will reach a point that you must be compromised to some extent. It is something that I'm not saying that IEBC is compromised, but specific individuals have issues and have been in public domain being criticized on the same. Let me ask you, when PLO Lumumba was at ESCC, how long did he serve?
Not long.
Very little. Huh? And what did he say when he left? In this country, if you serve and finish your term without any issues and everybody praising you, you're not doing the right thing. You are not doing the right thing. You are not acting as per the law. You are favoring specific group and destroying specific group. PLO Lumumba stayed there for a very short time and he did what he felt is right constitutionally. He was sent home.
I remember somebody tried to bribe him with that 100,000 shillings, and people were asking,
why can't people like Lumumba be given opportunity to serve at the helm of IEBC? They qualify. At least for the first time, we can have an election where you will say that Brian Amwai won. Not that we think that he won.
They said something in terms of when people praise you, maybe you're not doing the right thing, but that's not a subject of debate today. Listen, I want us to get into what is going to happen this coming weekend, this week rather, this Wednesday. And it has to do with the planned protest that Azimio leader Raila Odinga says now we are going to hold public consultations with people in Kamukunji on the 7th and also on 12th of December to just discuss how the country, which direction the country is actually taking. Now, these public consultations, I have no idea how they plan to be carried out. I don't know if it's a rally or something like that, or we are going to sit down and start, having a conversation. But at the onset, when it started, it looked like it was about the IEBC commissioners, but right now it looks like it's taking a different trajectory, and there are so many things. What do you make of these, demonstrations first? Because a lot, a short way, a lot of people have been, on the forefront, coming to tell Raila Odinga this is not the right time to actually do it.
Raila, if leader of opposition was a position to be applied for in terms of experience, I don't think there is anybody who has experience in opposition as it stands right now more than Raila Odinga. And for him to say, Raila, I've been the president, I've been in the government, and he has been outside. He knows what's happening and knows what's not happening. So for him to say that he's calling a demonstration, or rather a peace discussion, or a talk, the way he puts
Public consultations.
A consultation, the way he puts it. I'm not an insider of Azimio. I don't know how the plans are being drawn. I don't know if it's an ODM affair, because I saw Jubilee, KANU, and Wiper somehow pulling out. I don't know how far the plan is. But what I know is Raila is not doing this for himself, like some people have been putting it.
Well, Gachagua says that is the deputy president. To some extent, he's trying to push for a handshake between him and the president.
I don't think Raila is doing this for himself. Because I see people, even if you go online, you see people talk and people post like, Raila, somebody asking how does the Raila's demonstration benefit Luos. Raila can survive. Raila can survive. Tell me, if Raila now decides to quit politics, is he going to die of poverty? Is he going to die of hunger? Is he going to lack water in his homes? No.
So why is he doing that? Why do you think
he's doing that for you and myself, who cannot stage a demonstration in this country and survive? He can do a demonstration and just walk out. You do a demonstration in this street hapa, uone kichapo utapewa na udalala police station miaka 6. Nobody will care about you. So this guy, I think, from my view, he's doing this to communicate that it is not okay. The people are not okay. And trust me, on Wednesday you will see even faces who supported Kenya Kwanza in that demonstration. Why? People are frustrated economically.
But this is the thing, Ken. You see, the government has been in place for like 3 months. Are we giving them enough time to actually, come and implement whatever they promise? Are we not? Is it not too soon to actually start castigating them?
Yeah, to some extent it's too soon, but to some extent nobody cares. Because these people have been in the government. Okay, they have been there 3 months.
Because if you're looking at economic reasons and
that's they have been there for the last 3 months. Are they not earning? They are earning salaries. Are you aware that up to now there are people who have not earned since the elections? They have not seen anything. I don't know your case. Maybe you guys are okay, but from where some of us are coming, we've not seen anything since August. We don't know why. Get that? And some were laid off immediately after that. So people are pressed. People are oppressed, and whatever Allah is planning to do. We can all wait and see.
That's what I wanted to put across. This is the thing. You see, when some of the manifesto and some of the things that the Kenya Kwanza government wanted to do are not things that could actually be done in a month or two. It takes a little bit of planning. So when you start calling them out on those particular issues, then it looks like probably you just want to, it's more of an attack than fighting for the right thing, because you need to be also logical on this particular issue. And that's why I started by saying that when it started, it looked like it was the 4 IBC commissioners, because then the president was accused of political vengeance or something like that.
But still, the resignation of Cherera and Nyaga does not stop it being an IBC issue. Okay. Because still they are not dead. They are still around, and they resigned. Okay. Now that even forms the better basis of that demonstration. But again, on the economical issues, yes, the president has been around, just been around for about 3 months or 4. In as much as you want to reform a country, which in my thinking, the president is doing well, and the deputy is also doing well. So we see them distribute food and stuff, and the other day he was in Kisumu and stuff. It is a good thing. But we need to ask ourselves, for how long is this going to happen? Okay. For how long is this? Yes, we can say, we are going to give you the best country in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years. It's okay. The next 5 years we will be living well. Who tells you that in the next 5 years we will be available? We will be present. We will be there. What happens in the intervening period between now and the 5th year? What's happening? That's now the biggest. That's where the problem is. That's where the gap is with many people. The president has plans. He gave out plans. He gave out agendas and manifestos, which are very nice if implemented. But in the intervening period of implementation, what is happening? And any politician who has been on the ground will tell you. We'll go and talk to Mwananchi. Tell them, if you like me, I'll do this. And before you leave, they will ask you, okay, fine, we've heard you. But now in the intervening, between now and the day you will do those things, what if we die of hunger? We won't be there to enjoy. So do something now. Do something now.
So what is this something that should be done at this particular? What do you think should be the government's priority right now?
I think the government should just ensure that people can eat, people can move. I think that those are not the basics as at now. Okay. People should be able to eat at least thrice. Just ensure that somebody can eat without too much pressure, and they can move from point A to point B. Right. That means transportation should be looked into, and food production.
All right.
If it is sorted, nobody will be complaining. Let me tell you, a hungry man can talk anything, but a man who is satisfied, who is settled, he can even forget that the president exists. Because they have nothing to complain about.
All right. Let me look at what this, in terms of, because the opposition has been called out for these demonstrations. And maybe, to some extent, some people do believe that it's not being done in the right way. There's a better way of actually doing things. Do you believe demonstrations are the right way to go? Or there's a different way that the opposition can actually keep the government in check?
Raila and President Ruto are two people who can sit down and talk. But again, the question is, if today it appears there that Raila and President Ruto are seated somewhere having a conversation, what do you think the insiders of Kenya Kwanza will say?
That we are looking for a handshake.
Exactly.
And somehow betrayal.
And what do you think the people like Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Mheshimiwa Speaker, people like Deputy President, what's going to happen? You know, it's not an issue that it's not a big deal for the president and Raila to sit down and talk. But again, you must ensure that you must remember that these two people have their own interest. Politically, economically, financially, they have their interest. So they have to ensure that it's at stake first before they make any move. So Raila's demonstrations does not mean that he cannot approach president. They talk. They can talk. In fact, they do talk. Not just on the public domain. Don't see them talk. But I'm convinced within me that these two gentlemen, these two leaders,
could actually sit down and have a conversation. But in terms of now, you know, the demonstrations part and how the opposition is keeping the government in check, that is what a lot of people are having a trouble with. We say, if we are going the demonstrations where you're going to derail the plans of the government.
Which plans?
Because the argument is we've put out the Hustler Fund. We have the housing agenda that is actually, you know, in
how long is the demonstration going to last?
A
demonstration. I saw
the demonstration. When he says he's going to be holding public consultations and rallies, then probably it's going to take us a while, because the president did say yesterday that you see, you need to give us your schedule and exactly how many times you want to do this so that we actually do provide you with security.
But you know, Bran, even the president knows that Raila is somebody you cannot ignore. I'm not talking from a point of support or a point of Azimio thinking or a psychophant. But it is true, it has been showcased many times, not once, not twice, that this is somebody who you cannot ignore. More so when he's idle, like he is right now. He doesn't have anything to do. Apart from his personal business, he has nothing to do to keep him busy in the government. So what the best he can do is to check where there is loopholes and hit. You know that? So this is somebody you cannot ignore. When it comes to numbers, he will just wake up one day like he has planned and say, Tukutane CBD. And people will come as if it was an invitation that was placed 3 months ago. You know that? So this is somebody you cannot just say that, I'm not going to consider this guy. That's why you see, from the day the communication was made of demonstration, the president has been keen. And even to some extent, I feel like the president wants to be part of it by providing security and ensuring people are safe. And
listen, some people do argue that he's looking for political longevity. Maybe he's lost his constituency. Now he plans to, you know, see whether he still has the power that he used to
test waters, But this somebody who has how do you say he has lost constituencies and he garnered 6.9? You know, Amwai, numbers not lie. As at now, the president got over 7.2 billion. 7.2. Those are numbers that he has. Raila had 6.9. These are people who are not dead. How do you say that person has lost ground? And we've not had any election. We've not had any other election to prove that he has really lost ground. And maybe if he had elections after August and he scored 200,000, you can say, this guy, he's not trying to. But we have not had any other elections. So this, you cannot argue that he's trying to test it. No. If it's issue of numbers and he has it, and I know he's going to prove it on Wednesday. But our main issue should be, is the demonstration going to bear fruits that can save the Mwananchi?
Do you think it's going to bear fruits?
Or the intentions of the demonstration is for individual gain? We don't know. Personally, I don't know. Maybe somebody knows.
But when you look at it, could it lead to something different in terms of probably championing for something that is actually, we can look at it and say, now he was championing for this is exactly what you got?
That's what we are hoping, that the demonstration will be something about the people. Not an individual. And if it's about the people, it should be about the people on the ground. Get that? Like I said, these MPs, most of these MPs, so long as they are sitting in parliament, those guys cannot go hungry unless they want to. They are fasting, maybe. But our wananchi when wanaenda kwa mukutano, some of them will leave that demonstration and go and sleep hungry. Some of them will find their way into that demonstration and find their way back home. So the demonstration, it should be, from my thinking, it should be a meeting to collect views on how people are feeling about the government up to now penye tumefika. And then these views zenye zimekuwa collected, they go submit to the president. In fact, I saw Mudama saying that the opposition should be funded so that Raila can be able to meet his people. You know, there are issues that it is not Raila can collect from his people and without the president. So hii demonstration inafaa ikuwe something objective,
Okay.
in regard to the benefits and uplifting of the
people.
wananchi.
So that should be the focus of the demonstration.
Basically, that should be issue of fights. And no, we fought, man. We fought. We fought. Some of us we fought for this thing since we left high school. We've been fighting, and we've never tasted the fruits of the war. So we are dying in the war, and we are tired.
You have a former prime minister and a leader for the opposition promising to bring down a regime of the day, the regime of the day rather. He says we've seen this before. We fought it, we're seeing it now, we're fighting it, and you're going to bring your system down.
He knows what he's talking about. You know, I cannot interpret his thinking, but any other person who talks from his own objective and thinking. When he said that, he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he has seen. He knows what he saw before he was born.
Okay.
And now he can relate the two. So on that Wednesday, if the demonstration materialized, we will now hear to know the meaning of everything that he's saying. But I just want to believe that the demonstration will be about the people, so that the president can get the information and make some correction. You know, our president is a very listening guy, man. The president is a listening guy. We were there, mimi nilikuwa pale Hustler Fund ikiwa launched, and I can tell you that the president is a listening guy. And if he's told, or if he's served with those issues, he can address 1, 2, and select 3 or 4 that he can add on to his manifesto, so that the plan, so that we have the card that we're looking for.
Is it the work of the opposition to help the government in making it good? Because to some extent, I believe the opposition in this country focuses on making the government look bad, not making it look good. So they're not going to submit now. These are the things that Kenyans want. Kindly take them and make the lives of the people better. They're going to do that.
Now, opposition is to check.
Yeah.
Check in. You point out where the government is going wrong. Now it's the duty of the government now to check on what you are saying that they are doing wrong, to make some changes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true, you cannot go and submit to them. You know, it's a power pool. It's a power press. You want to see who is powerful than the other. So nobody will accept that. But whatever we'll be discussing in that demonstration, I believe, will be on social medias everywhere. That's now where the stakeholders of the government can now pick and say, this is what they are hitting us with from. Let's now address this.
Okay.
Let's now address this. Let's put this as part of our plan.
Now, something else I want to ask you, in terms of, like you say, it should focus mostly on the people around. And I said a lot of people have been up and just, telling the government, or rather Raila Odinga, to not do it and focus on something different, because these demonstrations, most of the time, do not, bear any fruits. They don't help either side. Even the president was on record saying, if you are going for demonstrations, they are not going to help you, neither are they going to help us. They are not good for either side. So why would you plan these demonstrations? And he's adamant in terms of going for the
Let me ask you, if you look at the demonstrations that have been held before, demonstrations are not done to actually provide assistance immediately. Demonstrations are platforms to convey the challenges and difficulties that people are going through. Now, let me say, like I said, Raila might be in a position to give the people platform to communicate the president. That's more or less a public participation. He's just giving people platform to participate publicly on something that you cannot just wake up and start saying. You cannot, as Look Up TV, you guys cannot wake up and start having a public participation across the road, asking people questions on how they feel. Look at that. But this demonstration, in as much as it might not help the government or the opposition immediately, but in the future, these challenges, when they are raised, the government will pick 1, 2 and address.
All right, and just part of the people that we'll actually be talking about it is probably the lower council of elders, who say maybe the other side, this side of the political divide, and that is the Nyanda region, has not benefited anything from it when it comes to matters demonstrations. So is this about regions? Is it about the country? What exactly is this about?
That's a good point, actually. Yesterday I saw a friend posted that and asking, how has Luos benefited from Raila's demonstrations? Raila is an individual. Luos are many. Luos are a tribe. You don't crucify the entire tribe because of an individual. Okay. Raila knows what he's doing as an individual. If Luos feel like they want to be part of it, let them be part of it.
Right.
If Kikuyus, Kambas, even Kalenjin, some of them was, and on the same, on the same thread that post was made, a Kalenjin friend posted that we as Kalenjins, we've been in government for the last around 32 years. And we are suffering. We've not enjoyed anything. So you know,
being
it should not be reduced to
opposition has not done anything for either side of the divide.
Exactly, but it should not be reduced to a tribal issue.
Okay.
It should be agenda-based, objectively, and for the purpose to address things that will solve the people.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ken Babu. We are out of time on this particular conversation, and just making time for this conversation here on the Morning Drift to just try and understand what, the matters, current affairs, where the nation is headed in terms of the 4 IBC commissioners. Now we understand that 2 have already resigned. That is Justice Nyang'aya and the Vice Chair, Juliana Cherera. We are remaining with Francis Onderi and Irene Masit. We have no idea what they're thinking right now, or whether they're drafting their resignation letters, or they plan to go through to fight it to the end, first the tribunal, and tell Kenyans exactly what happened behind the scenes. That does it for us here on the program. Thank you so much for making time for the Morning Drift and State of Affairs here on Look Up TV. Let's do this again next time. Have yourselves a lovely week ahead and a lovely day.